love this soundtrack, you know? Hello, everyone. We are back for another episode of Real Estate Reality. I'm your host, Sergio Saya, and I am here with my beautiful daughter, intrepid real estate broker of the Executive Group Realty.
Hey, everyone. I'm glad to be back.
So on today's episode, we are going to talk about foreclosures and what's going on in the market. And, it's beginning to rear its ugly head.
Wait, before we dive into today's topic, I have to share this with you. So every time I walk into the studio, it feels like I should have a suitcase or like a backpack ready to jet off to somewhere warm and like exotic.
Yeah, I feel the same way that you should. Well, you know what? I'm also will be going on vacation, so I'm kind of happy. And I kind of feel like some of our agents in the office, like Ali and Jacqueline, especially Jacqueline and Gina, these three agents just love to go on vacation and enjoy themselves. And you know what? God willing, I'll be able to go on vacation just like them.
I think that's great that they have the time to do that. And, now, especially since we're starting to enter those colder months.
Yeah. These three agents are super productive. They're very efficient. I don't know how they do it. I mean, it's amazing. Freaking agents, I don't know how they do it, where they find the time to just take off and leave, but they do.
Hey, they get the job done. And you know what? Real estate is not what it was like 30 years ago. I'm going to tell you right now. Everything is so much more flexible, and especially with all the advanced technology we have.
Well, let me tell you about technology.
Tell me about technology.
Back in 1986 or 84, actually, we had none of this technology. We used to have a hardline telephone. And you used to be able to dial that phone. Sometimes it was a rotary phone. And the internet was like this. You dialed the phone, you got the beep, like that, internet sound, right? Like the Matrix. And then you used to take the phone and put it in this cradle. The cradle was the freaking modem. You understand? And that's how the connection on the internet was made back then.
Wow. So, you took notes on a tablet with the chisel and everything?
Wow. You missed your calling, Sammy. You should have been a freaking stand-up comedian.
I'm just naturally blessed with my sarcasm and no filter.
That's because you're Italian.
Probably.
Yeah. So, by the way, our studio here is in Ronkonkoma Lake, Ronkonkoma MacArthur Airport, where we are broadcasting live from 103.9 Long Island News Radio. So to kick off the show, we talked about FSBOs last week, right? That's what the show was about. And FSBOs love to leave money on the table because they think that they're saving money on commission. They have no understanding that the real estate broker actually makes them more money than saving the 6%. They're very concerned about the 6%. Towards the end of the show, I started telling you about foreclosures. And you know what? Foreclosures is what this show is about, and how to save your home for foreclosure. At the end of the show, you will have all the options in front of you, and you will know how to save your home from foreclosure.
Yeah, listen to the end of this broadcast, but remember that this will be repeated 3 times during the week, and we'll be posting it on YouTube as well, and it can be found at RE Reality NY. So, when we talked about last week's show, I found some helpful statistics and information that I wanted to share with you.
Exactly. What did you find out, Samantha?
I'm not going to be an alarmist. I'm just being informative right now. But according to AdamData.com, a leading curator of land, property, and real estate data, the rate of foreclosures started in the second half of 2023. It was up about 15% overall from 2022. That's 15%.
Let me jump in for just a second and explain why this is significant. Now lenders are going to start beginning to feel the pinch. One of the first things that are going to happen if the economy goes to pot is that they will close out all the home equities. Okay. One of the things that people don't talk about is 1997. Everybody seems to be focused on 2004, 2007. But let me tell you about a possible scenario. If the economy contracts, people that have expensive mortgages and little equity will have very little incentive to stay home, to stay in their homes. So I personally have seen 3 of these bubbles, and people keep on saying that there's no bubble, that because there's a lack of inventory, there's no bubble, that because there's no bubble because there's inflation. Well, let me break it down for you folks. I hope you're listening to me. But can you say it with me? Inflation. Inflation. Okay. What does that stand for? What is inflation? Think of blowing up a bicycle tire or a ball, a soccer ball, or a basketball. Okay. If you keep on inflating these balls, what's going to happen? Right? So the real estate market is in a bubble. It hasn't burst yet.
Right.
It doesn't mean it won't burst. Okay. But it's unsustainable. You can't have this type of appreciation and not, bust it. At some point, many people will be stuck holding the bag and have some sort of hardship.
Wow. Way to bring down the mood with all that doom and gloom.
Look, I just want to give the listeners a little bit of perspective. Believe me, people that are in their 50s and 60s know what I'm talking about. They will understand what I'm talking about because they will be through. But you're right. Let's offer some solutions, right? So number 1, if you're behind on your mortgage by 90 days or more, your creditor, your bank, will issue an NOD. Now, NOD is an acronym, and it stands for what is it called? Notice of default. Okay.
Right. That is when the general public, especially investors and all those shady people, will start contacting you.
Yeah, I'd use the word unscrupulous because these types of people will want money. And let me tell you something, folks. These people want to help you. They don't want to help you. They want to help themselves. Let me repeat. Don't give any money up front to anybody. Nobody gets money up front, okay? Yep. So number 2, we're talking about not giving people money up front. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because there'll be people that will be knocking on your doors, will be calling you, will be sending you the tons of letters and warnings, okay? And before I go any further, let me tell you this. I'm not an attorney, so I'm not giving you legal advice. I'm giving you things that I've learned from experience, things that I've experienced with my clients. Okay. So at this stage of the foreclosure, when you receive a notice of default, you don't need an attorney. There will be a time and a place that you will need an attorney, but now is not the time or the place. So number 4, Sam, if it's worth selling your house, this might be the time to contact a specialist that knows what to do with a distressed asset. Okay. A specialist on Long Island, there are a handful of them. I am one of them.
Yes, you are.
I'm a certified loss mitigation consultant, and I've been so since 1998, when the vast majority of real estate agents and attorneys had no idea what a short sale was or is.
Yeah, and last week we discussed the importance of working with a real estate broker and not just using an attorney to solve all of your problems. I just want to stress that when the time comes to use the services of a real estate attorney, you choose an attorney that has the knowledge in dealing with banks and with distressed assets.
That's a good point, Sam. You need to use people that are used to that type of business. Number 5, you have options. Foreclosure is a process. It takes time. Do not, under any circumstances, abandon your house. Do not let the bank or their henchmen talk you into giving them your keys. These are people that make a commission out of getting you out of the house. They work really, really hard and strenuously to get you out of the house. They'll come in, they'll knock on your door, they'll seem all friendly and everything, and they'll say, listen, I can get you money if you walk out of the house. I will buy your deed. These are unscrupulous people.
Isn't that scary to see it, some stranger come to your house and offer you money in return for your keys?
How many times has that happened? How many people do we know that were forced out of their house and they weren't able to get back into the house?
Right. It's terrifying.
Yeah. So one of the most important advices that I can give you is just don't give your keys to anybody. Stay in your home. Okay. Number 6. I'm sorry. If you have abandoned your house, you need to realize that it's still your house. Okay? What does that mean? You own the house. Just because you left it, because you abandoned it, it doesn't mean that it's not your house any longer. You can still sell it. All the contents of your home, the boiler, the plumbing, the electric, whatever services are still operating in your home are yours. You can actually make money even though you're upside down on your mortgage. So you don't want to give up your leverage, because if you give up your leverage, the bank will just play roughshod over you. Okay, so I want you to stay tuned, and I want you to make sure that you come back with us when we come back from break, because we're going to lay out much more of what's going on in the market with the foreclosures, what the banks are doing. And by the way, did I mention that I love this song? It's a really nice soundtrack, and I really love it. Okay, so I will see you soon when we come back, okay? I will talk to you later. So welcome back. This is Sergio Saya.
And Samantha Saya.
We are back here in Ronkonkoma, MacArthur Airport, 103.9 FM, and we're coming to you live. This is Real Estate Reality, and we are talking about foreclosures. So if you are just tuning in, welcome back to the show. If you have been listening, thank you so much for staying with us. I'm going to tell you a story, Sam.
I'd love to hear it.
So we're talking about people being forced out of their homes. So we had this client that we just actually helped, and we're closing on their house tomorrow.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. And what happened was there was a family, and one of the parents died, and the kids didn't really know what the hell they were doing.
Right.
And so the authorities, meaning the bank authorities, the henchmen, came by and they said, hey, listen, we'll give you $3,000 to move out of the house. Mm-hmm. $3,000. What are you going to do with $3,000, right? That wasn't even enough money to hire a moving truck.
Right.
Okay. When I contacted them, and because I saw the house was vacant, when I contacted them, they said, listen, we need some help. We left all of our stuff in the house.
They even left the boat in the backyard.
They left a nice boat for us.
Right.
You know, I've always wanted a boat, right?
I know.
Okay. So we went in there and we took 6 dumpsters, 6 30-yard dumpsters, and we cleaned out the house. They weren't able to get back into the house. But what I did is I negotiated with the bank. I made sure that they got $15,000. Now, don't forget, $15,000 sounds like it's nothing. Okay.
Right.
These people were behind on their mortgage for years, okay? They owed the bank in back payments $80,000, okay? So they weren't going to get any money out of the house. They had vacated the house. The house was vacant, right? Full of rodents, raccoons, and the poop, which is toxic.
Oh, I remember that.
So we went in there and we took 6 or 7 dumpsters. We renovated the house totally, okay? And we sold the house, and we were able to get them $15,000, and they were so happy. And they felt like somebody was there to help them. Mm-hmm. The house will be closing tomorrow, and everybody's happy because a nice family will be going in there, a low-income family, no less. So we made a house affordable for a Long Islander, you know? So, all right. So getting back to the choices that you have, I'm glad that you stayed with me.
Yeah.
Number one of the choices that you have is deed in lieu of foreclosure. Now, a deed in lieu of foreclosure is commonly referred to as a deed in lieu, okay? And what a deed in lieu is that you give your keys, just a situation that I just spoke about before, okay? You give your keys to the bank, you leave everything behind, and you get nothing. Maybe you get $1,000, $2,000, okay? That is the worst deal that you can make, yet many people want to do it because they don't want to have anything to do with the house anymore. They're just so mentally fogged.
They're fed up.
Yeah, they're fed up, and that they don't want anything to do. So by doing that, not only do you lose money doing that, but you also lose any leverage. I can't go in there and negotiate against the bank in your favor and get you more money. So I really don't think that a deed in lieu is a good choice for you. Now, number 2 is forbearance.
Yeah, so forbearance is when the bank agrees to let you take the outstanding balance you owe and place it to the back of the loan for you to pay at a later date. Sometimes it's at the end of the mortgage, you'll pay it in one shot, but this usually results in higher payments, and many times, well, most of the times, it's not worth it, especially if you have been late for over a year.
Yeah.
How often does that happen?
It happens almost all the time.
Right.
And it just happened, actually. It just happened through COVID.
Right.
Right? They gave people forbearance, and people said, yeah, okay, I don't have to pay the mortgage. I'll put everything in the back of the loan. And then they don't realize that the back of the loan is called a balloon payment.
Yes.
That you have to pay it all in one shot. So now a house that was worth $450,000 becomes a house that is now has to be worth $750,000.
Right.
And you're never going to be able to sell it. It's like you're renting.
Well,
so,
it feels like it's a trap, kind of. Doesn't it feel like a trap?
It's a freaking trap.
Yeah.
You know why? Because that's a way for banks to make more money. That's a way for banks to chisel you out of money.
It's very sad.
It is sad. So number 3 is a short sale. So a short sale is when you sell your house for less than the mortgage amount. So usually this happens when there's not enough equity in the home. This happens when, let's say, you owe the bank $700,000, maybe $800,000, and the house is really only worth $500,000. And there's no equity in the house, and the value of the house is lower than the mortgage amount.
Yeah, I mean, at our company, the Executive Group Realty, the majority of our agents are well versed in short sales, believe it or not. And we work with you and the bank to help you not only sell your home, but relieve you of any debt that they may hold over your head. And I have to admit, it's not the easiest transaction to make. It takes so much time, but we've been doing this for so long. You've been doing this since 1998. So, I mean, I think we have it down to a science.
Yes, we do. You are very helpful with this because actually you're the one that processes all of these things and you negotiate with the bank.
Finally, I get some credit. I've been waiting this entire show for some credit. You finally give it to me.
I always give you credit. I mean, you run the company. You're the CEO, the COO. You tell me what to do all the time. You yell at me half the time.
Gosh, I got my broker's license just for you.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the funny part is about what you said about the debt elimination, and that's called a deficiency judgment. We get rid of that deficiency judgment. We negotiate that away with the banks. The banks would like nothing but to keep that deficiency judgment because then they could go back after you.
Yeah, they don't mind.
They don't mind. But we make sure that we get rid of that deficiency judgment. In fact, when you mentioned that, we process these short sales, you actually do these short sales for other people, for other brokerages on Long Island.
Yes,
we're not going to name them. We're not going to name them.
We won't say who.
Because they're offhand, they're our competitors, but they're also our clients.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, we do that, but the one thing that I actually I'd like to talk about is that we get to help homeowners, and we don't charge them for anything when we do these short sales. We get to help them and get them some money in their pockets, which is great.
Okay, well, listen, I want you to take my number down, guys, okay? Sergio Saya, 631-236-8546. If you are in any trouble whatsoever, I want you to contact me. Contact me, guys. Don't be crazy. Don't do it on your own. Don't call an attorney because you don't need to, to do that yet, okay? So contact me for the right advice. So number 4 is loan modification. Loan modification is just like refinancing. Okay, think of refinancing, but not with having to go through all of the steps that the bank wants you to do it. Refinance is not going to happen for you because if you are behind on your loan, your credit is screwed up. So you're not going to be able to get a refinance. A loan modification is your only option. Unfortunately, loan modifications are not really common. Loan modifications were common in 2004, 2007, but they're no longer common. They might be coming back. What loan modification is the modification of your original mortgage terms. They might reduce your what do you call it? Your interest payment,
Right.
your payments throughout the year.
Right.
But that's really not happening. So loan modification is really not a choice. I'm going to repeat myself, Sam. What am I going to say?
Tell me. Go ahead.
Okay. Do not pay anybody any money up front. Okay. Number one, it's illegal unless it's an attorney. Number two, you're going to get screwed.
Yep. So I remember you telling me stories about people that were defrauded by, we're going to use your word, unscrupulous individuals. They never got their money, and some of them actually went into foreclosure. Isn't that right?
That's right.
Oh my gosh. And I think you even mentioned some wound up in jail.
It's true. But you know what? That's part of the job, and this is part of the real estate business, and I want these people exposed. But I'm going to stop before I go on a rant. Unfortunately, it's that time again, and it's time to wrap up. So please, please, please make sure that to contact me if you are behind on your mortgage. Do not let anybody bully you. Let me help you, and let me help give you a dose of real estate reality. Okay? I am Sergio Saya.
And I'm Samantha Saya.
And you can reach me at 631-236-8546 or on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter at RE Reality NY. Bye.
Bye.